Hey,
Rolling.
welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with the crew, P and Cal. Say what's up, guys.
What up?
Ready to rock.
So today we're talking about the Bad Batch, episode 3 and 4. Today, episode 3. We'll start off with that, guys. This is the episode entitled Replacement, and this is when they have the ship and they have to land on they're stranded on the moon, and while they're there, they encounter some moon animals. I guess they're dragons. I guess they were called, and that animal steals one of their, I guess, energy pods, and they have to go take care of it. It's an interesting episode. It's seems like a filler episode, but what's more important is the fact that Admiral Rampart shows up. Tarkin is still on Kamino with the clones, and he's basically taking off. And he has this new Admiral Rampart, whose goal is to bring in humans into the military, instead of just the clones. And one of the reasons why clones are very expensive versus regular humans. And it takes 10 years. And another thing for Tarkin is whether the clones are loyal themselves. So that's the premise behind that. What do you guys think about that episode, gents?
Yeah, I agree. Filler. I never bought the whole premise for the clones. That was all retroactive continuity because you had a superior fighter in the clones, and then they had to explain, well, why do we have these stormtroopers? Or the stormtroopers clones? No, the stormtroopers are regular guys. So why don't we have these guys? Oh, it takes too long to build these dudes. But for some reason, they were plentiful during the Clone Wars. There was no issue there, So, yeah, I never bought that as a premise. But yeah, overall, as an episode, yeah, definitely filler. I think this is going to turn into what they normally do with these animated things, with these animated series that they do for Star Wars, where the first season is pretty much that's the weakest season. Like we're getting our sea legs at this point. But don't worry, season 2, season 3, 4, those are going to knock your socks off. That's what it's feeling like right now.
I kind of agree with you there, Cal. This is definitely starting a lot slower than anything else than we expected, but it's you have to get into the show to get into it, and of course, like you said, the next couple episodes are going to bring in, but I think they're going to bring in a lot of characters, a lot of cameos coming in and out, and we're starting to see that right now from the fact that you still have Tarkin in episode number 3. And you're going to see in future episodes there's also other people who are showing up that you're going to be including in the series. But I mean, overall, before I start, Petey, what's your take on the episode?
Just gonna mull over me, huh? Just totally forgetting about me. Well, I mean, I guess the key part of this thing is that member of the Bad Batch that they keep messing with his chick, and now it's like the first test stormtroopers. And they have this thing, it's stormtroopers have a kind of a crisis of faith when they take out these people, and the batch, the clone actually follows orders, but the humans obviously are like iffy on it. It's kind of, but that was the hardest part for me. Is like, how does is that person in the Bad Batch ever going to come back? This dude over here, what's his name? Who's the bad one in the group? Anybody?
Which one? You're talking about Crosshair?
This guy, yeah.
Yeah, Crosshair.
Yeah, the sniper.
All right. As cool as he is, he's killing a lot of people, and a lot of people we're supposed to like, and the humans and whatnot. There's a lot of people that are taken out. So how does he come back? They had to take him out. Like he can't stay in the group now, right?
We're jumping ahead. We're jumping way ahead.
We're talking about that was part of the episode, wasn't it?
Right, but at this start, we're just talking about him. He's going full on Empire mode. He's training humans, and so basically they go. I was going to talk about that. He goes to the planet where Saw Gerrera and his gorillas are, and in that episode, what happens is he takes the humans to see if they can do the same job that they asked the clones to do originally, the Bad Batch. And whereas the Bad Batch is like, nah, we're not going to do this. Most of the humans do. One guy turns around and basically, it didn't work out for him, but the others basically follow orders, and that's what Tarkin wanted to see, that humans follow orders when they're given an order versus the
well, they don't.
So
they don't. They didn't follow orders.
They did what he did. They took care of
the he had to kill one of them, the strongest voice. He killed the strongest voice out of him, saying he wasn't with it, and the other ones followed orders because
you just said they didn't follow orders. So did they follow orders or not follow orders? That's what you just said. The premise was
They didn't follow orders. The
They did.
humans
Coerced. They
said,
had to be coerced.
yeah, you saying
It
they
doesn't matter
followed.
if coerced, they followed the order that was given.
If
I
you have
don't know
to be
what-
coerced, you're not following the order.
Yes, you are.
Oh my Lord.
He is following an order, you know. That's what he says. And just to say here with the clones, I think there's anywhere the figures, Disney has never given how many clones there are, you know, but there isn't an infinite amount. At the max, I think you know, probably a million the max, but I think it's always shown to be a lot less than that because they're very highly trained. It takes a long time to fill, and it costs a lot of money to maintain them. So I don't know how much there are. But you know, you're saying, hey, let's keep these guys, and it's not necessarily the case. The Empire has a lot of stuff, and if you've seen the Clone Wars, one of the things is, you know, the debt with the bankers and stuff like that. They had to take over the banks, and they're doing this with turning in their credits. They're doing all the things that the government will do. Turn over your credits if you're a legal citizen. Get the chain code. You know, this way you have control. No, you help your citizens to be part of a brand new, a bright empire going forward, and that's what they're trying to do here. You know, help everybody to understand the benefits of being part of the imperial system instead of the old.
I'm sorry. Wait, hold on a second. What are you saying?
He was on
You
he
trying
was
to
on
sell
the
this?
tear. He was on
You
the
trying to
tear.
qualify this right here? They're not benefits of imperial system. They're taking over. They're taking total control. Okay, when they do that type of stuff and they're changing up the currency and such, they're able to track the people. That's what they're doing.
Track the people. I don't know. Sometimes you guys keep throwing these political things into the show when it's just a show.
Political thing.
I'm not seeing the tracking at all. I just see that, hey, now that you're part of the empire, they want to make
You are too good with that propaganda. Like you've got it prepared for something of your own making.
Not at all. Not at all.
This is how you're looking to us right now.
What?
You're looking like this. Like you're talking about the empire. This is the hardest part because it does go into the stuff Cal was talking about, where it's kind of retroactive continuity, explaining how do we've never seen outside of the Force Awakens, we've never seen the stormtroopers really have independent thought or do anything outside of what they're supposed to do. And now they're going to do an episode where we explain how the humans fell in line after this. That's going to be too much to really be just, figured out. To say, okay, why do we got rid of the clones? Obviously, the Lamassus are like, no, we want this money thing to keep going. But it's like, how do you got these guys that worked out in the war. They're still your things. Now we got to get rid of all the clones and then add in these humans. It doesn't work. You can say over time,
Of course it works. Of course it works. And there's some beneficial reasons why you want it to work, right? I was watching this YouTuber who had a pretty good interesting, and his thought was, get rid of the clones, you hire humans, right? Humans now have families and friends that will now back the empire because they have jobs, right? You get them into the imperial system, you get everybody following the line. So it makes a lot of sense to do that also.
Wait a second, no, let's run this back, right? Let's run it back.
Tie into the imperial system.
No, let me tell you one thing. If you already have an army, right? Why would you enlist into something where you've known this, how long this war has been going on? And then you say, well, the people would already feel like it's not like, being, born in America and the idea, or being around the military saying, hey, these guys fought for us. They were us, regular people, being all they can be. This is like you've grown up and you got this police force / army all your lives. You might look to it. It might be people say, hey, I'd like to do that too. But as a regular working force, I don't know about that. That's like what, you've already always known in your life that the army has been these clones. So why would it be a thing where people?
The army wasn't a clone. Han Solo was a member of the.
I'm saying at the one point when they were actually up to speed, it was already these clones. They already had.
Han Solo's never a member of the Stormtroopers. He was there for all of like a hot second, and then he just broke out.
But the point I'm trying to make is that he was there for a hot second, but he was an individual who joined up with it. And
all right, I'm just saying that if you have an armed forces already, then to sort of slowly decide, all right, we got rid of that. Now we need new workers, and you'd be like, oh, these guys are terrible. It's gonna take us another century. Because let's deal with Star Wars instead of the yearly time, the regular time. Let's say it's gonna take us centuries to get armed forces that work as well as these clones, to break their minds and have them do everything we want them to do. But we just see the humans, and they're already just like the clones. They just get killed all the time, like those Roger robots. I hate those robots. I can't stand none of the droids. The rollout droids, the droids that walk up with the hand out, all those droids, I can't see anyone losing to those droids. I don't care if there are millions of them. They're all terrible.
No, and they are. I mean, generally they can't. Of course, they can't compete to the to someone like the clones. The clones are highly trained and stuff like that. But they did a good job of
Sure, didn't they take
keeping
out
civilians in line. Now that's not that was a very something that you want to happen. You want people not to be kept in line by the imperial system. But I mean, the premise is just that they're trying to change the system, and unfortunately, they're using humans now to do it. They're planning to phase out the clones over time. There may be a defect. There may be the cost to do it. I mean, they did Order 66, so you figure that if they did that to Jedis who they worked with closely, that they should remain Jedi. They should remain loyal, but probably they're afraid that, hey, because they have the chip, anybody can go in there and rewire the chip, and bam, you have 100,000 or 200 or 1,000,000 soldiers who are now going to back you up. So that may be one of the reasons why the decision comes. I mean, one of the many decisions that comes along with it. And with Vice Admiral Rampart, who Tarkin promoted, he will be in charge of it. He's going to be the big baddie in the series going forward. Because we see that they have warranted posters after them, and the very fact that we have Crosshair now running an elite group of humans, as opposed to the clones. So, all right. So are we done with episode? So wait, one last thing. So we see that Crosshair gets these humans to do what they have to do in killing humans, killing I don't know, they're all humans, but killing non-belligerents and soldiers and rebels. And we basically the Empire starts right now. Saw Gerrera is a character who shows up in the series Rebels, which is set 15, 20 years after the Empire has taken over. He also is in the what's that movie he was in, the Rogue One, is an older warrior. We also saw him in Clone Wars as a young warrior where he ends up losing his sister. And basically he's that forever rebel who keeps going on and on and on. And he's willing to do any tactic necessary to stop the Empire, the more he gets fought. So the connections, as we can see, they're doing a good job of connecting the dots throughout this whole series, Right, Cal?
This is a retcon.
It can't be a retcon. It's like the Stormtrooper thing. It can't be a retcon. They never explained the Stormtroopers before with the clones. So now you have to explain what happened between the transition.
You don't got to explain any of this. You just keep rolling. You don't have to. The explanations are just retcons at the end of the day. It doesn't make any sense. And then Stormtroopers, the way that they were portrayed in the original film, they just seem like conscripts.
Yeah.
They just seem like, hey, you're a Stormtrooper. This is not a career. They're like, hey, you're gonna come work for the Empire. How much do I get paid? You don't worry about that. All right. Now put this suit on, okay, and get going at the end of the day. They're like, they're like soldier fodder at the end of the day. They're like the G.I. Joe when you watch the cartoon and the guys in the green and they would just run in, they would just get mowed down. We didn't know who they were. They didn't have any code names. We didn't care. They're Stormtroopers. So when you start saying all this, here's the problem. You went back and you created a superior fighting force in the clones. Now you have to explain, why did I get rid of the superior fighting force for these generic guys over here? And the clones say the same thing. Oh, the armor's not as good. These guys aren't as good. We're better. And they're like, oh, but it took too long to make you guys. Didn't look like that in the movie.
Okay. All right. So that P, you have anything else to add to this episode? Or we moving on
to the next episode, because I'm not buying into the whole switching from clones to humans thing.
Well, whether you guys buy into it or not, it's been done. Okay, so moving on to episode number 4 called Cornered. Okay, in this episode, the Bad Batch has to land on a planet to get supplies, basically. And while they're there, this is the first time that Omega, who's basically grown up in the labs in Camino, where all the clones are made, she's able to go out and see people. She sightsees and stuff. But here we get another character by the name of Fennec Shand. And if you guys remember Fennec Shand, she was in The Mandalorian. Do you know who she is?
Who's she?
I don't remember.
She's the bounty hunter who tried to go after the Mandalorian, and he shot her. And then she came back later with Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, now I remember. Yeah.
So that's
Okay,
Fennec Shand, played again from by Ming Na Wen, who is we know in what's the name of that show, Agents of Shield. You know, who did a great job on that too. So clearly, she's still in the whole Marvel Disney universe. She goes from one show to the next. But here we have her. She's a bounty hunter trying to get this. Somebody put out a bounty for Omega, and which is pretty interesting because you figure the Empire will be trying to go after all of them, but I wonder if it's the Caminians, I don't know what they call them, people from Canimo, where they're the ones who actually put out the bounty because they want Omega back. There may be something special about Omega that we don't know as of yet.
they're
So,
taking their sweet time to let us know.
it's only episode 4, bro. Are you serious? You wanted to know everything right then and there, no mystery?
Oh, they had to keep the other stuff interesting instead of her walking off and then another person caught her away, that sort of thing. I mean, they got to get to it. Or if you're not going to do that, make it more interesting.
What's your take, Kyle?
I agree. A lot of this is just. I mean, I thought the series started off strong, and now we're kind of meandering with stuff, and like this is. But again, this is par for the course with what I've seen them do with the first season. The first season is like, okay, let's throw some stuff up, and all right, yeah, forget the first season. This is the good stuff. When we get to the second season, okay, here we go. Now we're up to speed. Now you're gonna get the juice. But this right here, it's kind of neither here nor there. I mean, I do like that they incorporate. It's nice that they incorporated Ming-Na Wen's character. That's okay to a certain extent. But right there, it just wasn't hitting. Not for me.
Okay, got it. I mean, but overall, what do you think about the whole thing that they were able to? They thought that our friend Echo was a clone. I mean, was a was a robot, a droid.
It's okay. No, I mean that was right?
Yeah.
I think it's taking what was done in the Attack of the Clones and making it a little more fun than it was in Attack of the Clones with the bad dialogue, Obi-Wan and Anakin. So, it was okay having to sort of jump around and have those things and nobody react to what's going on. And this chick was just killing people like left and right. So it's like, I think isn't she someone we're supposed to see later and like her? And it's like, no, she just kills people all the time. It's like so I'm not it's seeing where this thing's gonna go. That's the hard thing about this story, is that obviously do the Bad Batch survive? Maybe they do and they hide out and they show up in the Mandalorian later and as realized characters, but it's one of those things that's just okay. It's just kind of hard looking at those periods. But we know that the Empire is really going to take over, but we're not sure how it's going to take over. I mean, the Republic's already, it's new Empire now, but it's kind of like, what's happening here? We know that they can't be this resistance that keeps slipping in, or are they people we don't know? So anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, they're adding people, and I think one of the things that people like about Star Wars, and the same thing they like about Marvel, is that you have that continuity, where you have characters and other properties and stuff show up in this one, and I think that's one of the strongest things that they have going for it. If in the movies, they do their own thing, and they don't really play up the stuff to the audience, the fans, and I think the animated as well as definitely the shows have been trying to do more of that. Because if you got those guys on, you can bring other people in,
I don't know. I feel like if they appear at some point later where we don't have the Emperor and all this other stuff looming in to kind of bog down the story, where it can just get to, I don't know. I guess the plot is that area, so can't get around it. But my wish is just to have these cool characters and have them do things in the Star Wars universe, not be kind of stuck in between this period and that period. Because we kind of, after I watched, I think episode 3, I started watching some of the last season of the Clone Wars, and it was kind of tough to watch it because they had these poignant episodes with Anakin, knowing that he's going to be a mean, nasty son of a bitch later on. So it's like he's already turning bad in the second movie, and then in the Clone Wars, he's becoming this great leader. He got a Padawan. It's like I can't see that the loop for me is turning into like the was it not the battle of the? I guess it's the battle of the Planet of the Apes, where when you get to that movie, you don't understand what kind of loop they had. You kind of let the conquest of the planet, you kind of let things go, but then when you get to that next movie, you're like, what is going on here? There's no way this world comes back to the first Planet of the Apes, that sort of thing. So that's what I kind of do. I think the time loop kind of, with Hollywood, they just don't care about time loops. They're just like, we're just doing the stories we want to do. And if someone out there will explain it for us later.
All right, guys. So listen, let's wrap it up. Any questions about this? Or are we good? Bad Batch episode 4. It's another filler episode, and we didn't even see Crosshair in this one. So another filler episode.
Another episode.
You guys are both saying it's filler as Star Wars nuts. You guys are saying it's filler. Wow,
that's elements are good, but it's not. It wasn't as strong as the first 2 episodes. I think.
That's major.
And the third one was very dark. The killing of people. I mean, that's like wow. I think one of the option too is that in the 3rd episode you had the fact that Omega touched a gun. A lot of times you don't really have kids touching guns or definitely shooting guns and
Star Wars.
Yeah, but she's a clone, so that may be it there too. But that's something.
She's Omega.
If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment. Spinner Rack
out.